how have you been holding up since the mistrial?
Always strong, always. I will not be broken. They will not break me.
Your message for all the supporters out here.
Thank you as always. Thank you as always. There is no case against me.
After 8 weeks.
After 8 weeks, it's smoke and mirrors, and it's going through my private life and trying to contrive a motive that was never there.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
We as a society are so backwards right now, and the future scares the hell out of me. It scares the hell out of me that people believe the defense should have to prove innocence. I'm not happy about it, but it's abundantly clear to me that Katen Read will be found guilty regardless of what the defense does or what comes out at trial. One piece of testimony will be the final nail in the coffin that is this story, and I can prove it. So welcome to the point where everything said here is alleged. Please do your own research, form your own opinion, and let me know that opinion, because this is an open discussion channel where we try to be fair. And if more fair coverage on this story and others is something you're lacking, subscribe to this channel and hit that like button down below. Because the evidence or lack of evidence doesn't matter in this story to the jury. That's just the reality of the situation, and it's not crazy when you think about a couple of things. Now, I have said it before and I'll say it again. I am not opposed to them re-examining the telematics system in Katen Read's Lexus SUV. On this channel, we're objective and open-minded, and we want to hear both sides of the story. So any information is good, especially new information. Now, will it change anything? I honestly doubt it, because physics is physics and the science doesn't lie. Now, Hank Brennan saying he needs this for possible exculpatory evidence is a load of crap, and I hope the defense isn't falling for it, because that man's just trying to paint a picture, and he knows he's a few colors short. A lot's been made about that recent hearing also. Lally slumped over a table pouting as if somebody put that man in timeout. And people are saying Brennan's acting like he doesn't know what side he's working for. And I'm here to tell you right now, that man's a hunter. Just because he's quiet right now and looking all over the place doesn't mean a thing. Because he's just looking for the best place to attack. He's looking for the weakness within the defense's story. And come trial time, that switch is going to be flipped on. He's trimming the fat of this case, so to speak, and he's bringing in experts. Since it's obvious the only people who think MSP has experts is MSP itself in the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office. I look for Trooper Paul to take a supporting role in this next trial, since his expert testimony during the last trial fell flatter than a pancake. And with this new approach and expert testimony, Hank Brennan is hoping to avoid the elephant in the room for the state, which is all the backlash law enforcement has faced since Trooper Proctor took the stand and very publicly got face dragged all over the place. And with these new pieces in place, the only thing Hank Brennan needs now is time to fine-tune his story. Now, I am not a lawyer, and I'm not on here suggesting that Hank Brennan is going to out-lawyer Jackson and Yannetti. In fact, a piece of me is eager to see how all those individuals do against each other. This trial will now have two different sides with skilled orators who know how to get to the gotcha question. In a lot of ways, this will be like Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning. And a lot like that matchup, time has always favored the Patriots. A lot like it's favoring the state in this very particular situation. The defense asking for time alongside the state is absolutely a huge mistake in my own unprofessional opinion. Because the defense is already behind the 8 ball. The odds always favor the state. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's okay. It should be fair because it's designed to be fair, but because of human perception or error, depending on how you're looking at it, it just is what it is because of a couple of things. And I hate to say it, but society wants the defense to prove innocence. They feel like the defense has to prove innocence in these cases. Just look at the comments section of any video by your favorite creator. If the jury is primarily made up of lay people, and the general public is lay people, then what more do you need to see? The fact is, the vast majority of people right now are scared to think law enforcement gets it wrong. So they don't even bother asking the question how. Not every law enforcement officer is bad, but let's all stop pretending like they're getting the best of the best. These aren't the same people who your grandparents grew up with. They are overworked and underpaid. My lord, people, they use solo cups to gather evidence, and there was a member of the Canton Select Board who thought that was a genius idea. So of course the general public is going to sheep right along and agree with those individuals. They will in larger numbers believe Hank Brennan when he gets up there and says, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. This entire case for the state will center around those words. And it shouldn't be like that. The FBI-funded independent investigation won't matter because the jury won't know that the FBI was involved. Those eyewitnesses that changed their testimony won't matter because that's a cop family, and they're incapable of error. Those lost phones won't matter because they have Katen Reads. The telematics data from the SUV won't matter regardless of what it shows because the defense can't prove who else did it, even though they shouldn't have to. We as a society are so backwards right now, and the future scares the hell out of me. It scares the hell out of me that people believe the defense should have to prove innocence. Now, before I wrap this up, I need everyone to know that a week ago, I would have thought that this idea was ridiculous. I mean, when an FBI hired expert says, no, this isn't possible, that means it's not possible. But I'm telling you today, experts don't matter. If you can get a group of people to say, I heard her say I hit him, at that point, credibility doesn't even matter. Believe it or not, and it's sickening, but what has recent history told us? It's told us that you don't have to have any physical proof linking a suspect to a crime scene as long as they were in the wrong place at the right time. It's told us that law enforcement can openly admit to errors within an investigation and overlook possible suspects and leads as long as they swear person X did it, because law enforcement does no wrong. And above all else, a false confession or a misinterpreted hysterical question about how can and will be phrased to make you look guilty, as long as enough people say so. The lack of proof and improper procedure doesn't matter as long as the victim is good, decent, and an innocent person who didn't deserve what happened to him. All the state needs now to prove guilt in today's society is a name, an individual to say they heard somebody say something in your blind faith. That's what society's become. Katen Read will be found guilty because that's how Richard Allen was found guilty. You might have wanted that man to be guilty. Heck, at the start of the trial, a lot of us wanted him guilty. You might even felt like in your gut that he did it. But no way did the state prove it. But he's guilty simply because of a confession. A confession that was made during 15 months of solitary confinement. Katen Read's possible hysterical question will be the focus here. The uncredible eyewitness testimony will be enough because enough people are going to say it. And the improper procedures won't matter. Now, you're more than willing to talk me off the edge, so to speak, because this is an open discussion channel. But Hank Brennan will hire an expert to counter the defenses. And he will fall back to I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Jackson can say pin it on the girl 1,000 times and it won't matter. Because he doesn't have an additional 40 hours a day to reinvestigate this case to figure out what actually happened. Katen Read's only saving grace here is the punishment of several of these officers that were involved in this investigation. Following that hung jury, we got a very small amount of accountability here. Just a little bit. And that does offer a slight glimmer of hope. But it's just a glimmer to me after that Delphi verdict. As always, I may be completely wrong. And you can let me know down below. Y'all be safe now.